Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. Playoff time, baby. Here we go. Cubs, Padres. How can we erase my 1984 nightmare? Plus the matchups you want to look for and our predictions. CHGO Cubs, let's go. Oh, yeah. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign up. Sarah with the hype video.
Yeah. I want to lift a car right now,
ready,
Sarah.
Huh?
I want to dance.
Cubs playoffs,
Cubs.
First time in CHGO history.
Yes.
And the first time we will have Cubs fans in the stands for a Cubs playoff game since 2018.
Yes.
I like it. Cubs, Padres, best of three. We are ready for it. We will be expanding our coverage. Tell you about that in a second. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer, Joey Christopoulos, and Justin Roman. We will be here for every game along the way, post-game shows after every game. But that's not all, folks. You can follow us online. Jared Willis will be at the ballpark for us, getting the inside scoop inside the clubhouse. And we will be doing live watch-alongs. That means we're going to sit here and go through all the drama with you and the chat right here on the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel for every single out of this playoff series and hopefully postseason. Not just 2 or 3 games against the Padres. We will see. We have lots to talk about. Make sure, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to that new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, do it. Subscribe, turn your notifications on. Don't miss anything. Be there with us, and we'll be there with you, just like we have been for the last 4 years, every single day. Want to tell you real quickly about what we're doing here in September, because this is just as important as Cubs baseball and Cubs playoffs. Think about your favorite athlete. Maybe it's PCA. Maybe it's Michael Busch. Maybe it's Dansby Swanson. Every single one of these players had a coach, a mentor, or family member that believed in them first, somebody that saw their potential and gave them the confidence to go for it. That's what Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America does every single day. They create life-changing connections for kids in our community. So in September this month, we have been teaming up here at CHGO with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America to help fund their mission. We're looking for donations to ensure another child gets a mentor, role model, or champion in their corner. You could be that champion. So if you're watching us on YouTube, just look for the little icon in the corner of the screen. It's the little handshake button. That's the donation button. If you can afford to do it and you can help, any amount does indeed help. It all adds up. If you're listening in podcast form, head to bbbs.org/allcity. Let's help ignite the potential of the next generation. Again, bbbs.org/allcity if you're podcast form. Let's help Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and maybe it's good karma as we move forward into the postseason. So here we go. Cubs and Padres, best of 3 nowadays. They split the regular season series. Cubs won 2 of 3 at Wrigley. That's important because they're playing at Wrigley. And then they lost 2 out of 3 in San Diego. But, Joey, they haven't played since April. So these are 2 totally different teams than they were in April.
2 totally different teams. No Mason Miller on the San Diego Padres.
No, he was not.
Obviously, no Aaron Savali and Mike Soroka and Taylor Rogers for the Chicago Cubs when the Padres last saw them. That's for
right.
sure. But I will tell you that I am so incredibly jacked up and very, very grateful to be able to be doing these shows the next couple of days. And I know that we're feeling a little nervous, right, about the Cade Horton situation. But I will tell you that if you look at this Cubs season as a whole, it's been a lot of micro bursts this year, right? And they haven't been long winning streaks. They haven't been huge, long losing streaks. And right now, I'll tell you, whatever happened this past weekend in this Cardinals series, if you want to talk about a microburst, the Chicago Cubs are riding pretty high, in my opinion, and rolling into this series with momentum. Can they keep that going? We will see. In regards to Cade Horton and people saying, why even bother watching? What's even the point without our ace? I will tell you this, that this isn't my first Cubs rodeo this season, right? We've been through Justin Steele and walked through it. We've been through losing Shota Imanaga for 6 weeks and got through it. We've been through losing Jameson Taillon for a month and gotten through it. As a Cubs fan, guys, I am unfazed at this point, and I am ready to roll with this team as far as it goes till the wheels come off, Justin. I'm just so excited to get going tomorrow afternoon against Cubs Padres. I like the Cubs in this matchup. We're going to get into that a whole bunch over the next hour, but it's just a really exciting time, and I'm feeling good.
It is. My first year with you guys here at CHGO Cubs. And it's the first time y'all have playoffs, right?
Yeah. Well, you're the lucky charm.
I came in at a good time.
Yes. You did.
You waited.
You did.
You waited back with bated breath.
Some of the complaints I've seen online, I can't believe they're putting the Cubs during the day and with prime time. Listen, the Cubs are built for day baseball. Like it's so funny because like for so long, we don't want lights. We want day baseball is the Cubs thing. We got hopefully just 2 day baseball games at Wrigley Field. And by the way, as we're doing this right now, it's like 88 degrees outside. It's going to be beautiful all week long. I mean, it's perfect for the Cubs. Afternoon baseball, perfect weather, and the Cubs are riding high right now. You're right. I don't care if the Cardinals were trying to beat us. Like, don't forget that, like that whole intentional walk thing when Busch could have the cycle. They were trying to beat us, and we crushed them. We swept them. You got to feel good about that, and I'm feeling good too, man. I'm a positive guy by nature, as you guys know, but I feel really good about this matchup, Cubs versus Padres.
Look at this jacket he's got on. He's all geeked up for this whole thing. We're just excited to have playoff baseball to talk about. But you're right. It has been sort of microbursts or derechos or whatever they call it now in the weather world. Let's do a couple quick hitters as we get ready for this series and the playoff preview. We're going to look at the bullpens. We're going to look at the key matchups to this whole thing. We'll look at all of the playoffs in general. But I want to get to Romans just in time.
I love
Romans just in time. Here it is.
I love that. You made that up, didn't you?
I did. About an hour ago.
All right. So here it is. So what's going on is the Cubs need to score first for many, many reasons. One, it gets the crowd into it. It gets the crowd really energized and everything. But the Padres bullpen is phenomenal. They're one of the best bullpens in all of baseball, and if you score first, it puts the pressure on them. And I don't want to be down in the 7th, 8th, and 9th and having to face guys like Suarez and Mason Miller. Like you're behind the 8 ball at that point. So scoring first is very important to get the crowd behind you, but also that daunting Padres bullpen isn't so daunting when you're winning 5-0 or 5-1.
I love it.
It's a great point too. If I can just add on to that, like, what is so important also about scoring first in this game is that 2:08 start. If you watch the Cubs game yesterday, there's going to be some shadows creeping in probably between the 4th and 6th inning, and it will probably pass over in the later part in the 8th, 9th inning. But yeah, I don't care who you are and how long you play in Wrigley Field. I do think that shadow crossing, that diagonal between the pitcher's mound and the plate, it can have an effect, hopefully an advantage. Absolutely. Right, Justin, for the Cubs, because they've seen it and played in it before. Yeah. But I'm sure San Diego's probably had its fair share of that too as well.
Let's be up 5-1 because our bullpen is also very good. So our great bullpen with the shadows, I'd rather be up 5-1, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So we go from Romans just in time to Joey's Cristobal. Joey's Cristobal.
So here we go. Joey's Cristobal prognostication.
Yes.
For the Cubs-Padres series. I'm leaning into this one. But there's a certain player that, let's just say, we've fallen in love with this season. Let's just say there's a certain player that maybe in the first half took Major League Baseball by storm.
Vidal Brujan.
Oh, my God. You're reading my crystal ball.
I knew it.
Get out of here. Don't look at my crystal ball.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Don't look at my crystal ball.
Excuse me.
No, I'm talking about Pete Crow-Armstrong. I know this seems like low-hanging fruit, but over the last couple of months, this isn't quite as obvious as you would think. And he walked into this weekend, and you could tell he wanted that 30-for-30 season so bad. He had been hitting the ball. We'd been talking about it. He'd been hitting line drives for a couple days. He had been hitting the ball the other way, and now he's being rewarded by hitting balls over the fence. And not only to hit one, but he hit two off the scoreboard for number 31. He's got 30 for 30 this season. He just talked in the Players Tribune today, Luke, a lot about what goes into his mental makeup in terms of being out there and how to match his energy or try and bottle up his energy and use it at the right time. I'm telling you, I've been feeling this for a while right now, and you're seeing it at the plate. Pete Crow-Armstrong is going to do something really, really, really special in the next couple of days. I just believe it. I think he's going to be the MVP of this series. It doesn't have to be him going 5 for 7, right? Because that isn't all what PCA does. He can steal a base. He can make a diving catch. He can be that WAR player, that win above replacement player that simply the San Diego Padres don't have right now. And I'm looking at PCA that, as we said, when the lights shine the brightest, I think PCA is going to come out and shine the brightest of all the Cubs. And that's what I'm saying when I'm looking into my crystal ball.
I agree with you. I like PCA in this series. The title of, if you haven't read it, the Players Tribune article from him is spectacular. It's titled, "Who Do You Want to Be, Pete?" And he starts it off by saying, "I've been searching for something lately." And a few expletives in there as well. And he goes on to say he just, he's been grinding. He's in the cage and he can't quite get back to where he was in the first half. He wants to be that player. And then he turned on the TV and there was 2016. And as a kid whose father was in Naperville and told him you can't be a Dodgers fan and you can't be a Cardinals fan.
Smart man.
He was a Cubs fan. And he said he watched that video and he embraced it. And he was like, man, this place was electric. That's what we got to do. That's what I need to be a part of. And then he watched Rizzo come back and get honored. And he was like, he was the man. Like, did you see how he was treated at Wrigley Field? And that fueled him a little bit, right? And then he put on the Javi highlight reel and was like, he was electric. He was everything. He made those plays that made people go crazy. I don't want him to get too amped up, but I like what PCA is feeling going into this series. It's everything you've asked for. And another guy that's like that, Matthew Boyd, who also grew up watching a lot of Cubs baseball. All right, so we've had Roman's just in time. We've had Joey's crystal ball. Now it's time for Stuck With Me. You guys stuck with us for 4 years to get to playoff baseball. You guys stuck with us during a roller coaster season for CHGO and for Cubs baseball. You stuck with us. But what really stuck with me was 1984. I'm going all the way back 41 years ago. Cubs win 2 at Wrigley Field, and the Padres win 3 in a row in San Diego in the NLCS. It was the lowest moment of my childhood. So I say to you, that was the first time I knew the Cubs could be good, was 1984, going into that postseason. The Ryne game, the Sandberg game. I say let's do it. Let's win it for Ryne. Win it for Ryne and erase 41 years of misery against the Padres.
Yes.
Stick it back to San Diego, move on to the next round, and I can't wait to get to the Brewers. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, but let's get to Milwaukee. I want a piece of the Brewers.
Yes, agreed.
So what stuck with me? You guys stuck with me. 84 stuck with me. Ryne stuck with me, and now we're going to stick it to the Padres.
I hated Steve Garvey my entire childhood because of 84, right? A funny story. The biggest fight my parents ever got in was my dad was at the 13-0 game on game 1, Cubs Padres, right? He probably had way too much fun, got home way too late. Biggest fight my parents ever had was because of the Cubs Padres, game 1, 1984. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. 84 stuck with me too.
Oh, I remember my dad being real quiet for days after that. He wasn't a really vocal guy, but he was very quiet after that series.
What's that line in Home Alone where he's like, oh, well, yeah, he got over it. After a couple months, he came around, started talking again.
Niren is in the live YouTube chat here at the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel mentioning that Players Tribune. Yeah, we were just talking about it. It really is good. I was able to scan it before the show. It's his motivation. It's what he's going through. It's what led him to this point as a player. It's the grind that he's been going through, and a lot of stuff from inside that lets you kind of behind the scenes into who he is and what drives him, because we've heard so many veterans, Justin Turner and beyond, from the beginning of the season, especially when he got off to the hot start, talking about this guy's different. Like, he wants to be great, and that fuels him every single day. Well, I would like to see Pete Crow-Armstrong be great. We are going to look at some comparisons here. We're going to look at who to count on and who to look out for offensively in this series coming up next. Who do you think those players are? Let us know in the live YouTube chat. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Cubs fans, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. NFL is back, so Thursday Night Football, there's a $10 safety net bet. Sunday Night Football, $365K jackpot. When you place a $10 bet on the first touchdown score, you can get a split of the $365K in bonus bets if your player scores that final touchdown on the game, and it's payable regardless if the first touchdown score bet wins or loses. That's the Sunday night jackpot for you. And we also have Monday Night Football, 50% super profit boost token on same game parlays. Double your winnings on parlays with Bet365, 100% parlay boost. So download the app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. And also remember, if you place a bet for $10 or deposit it for $10, place a bet for $5, you get $200 in bonus bets, player props, spreads, futures, whatever it is. You must be 21 plus or older if you know someone who has a gambling problem. Crisis counseling and referral service can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only.
Let's be real for a second.
Finally.
The world has gone soft. And that's okay when you're talking about cupcakes, pillows, and the caress of your significant other. But right now, everybody gets a trophy for showing up. Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Soda used to have some kick, Joey. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not a soft drink. It's just a damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. RC's the OG. The OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. RC hasn't changed their stripe since 1905 because it didn't need to. Same bold, crisp flavor. It's always been RC Cola. Tastes like a punch in the thirst. Do yourself a favor. Stock up on your RC right now. RC and me, whether it's the Cubs playoffs or the Bears, do it. Cubs playoff preview. Cubs and Padres, best out of 3 at Wrigley Field starting on Tuesday. Be ready and be a diehard. We got a deal going on for you right now. 2 ways you can do this and join. $36, which is a special right now for a whole year with an limited edition shirt. Or check these bad boys out. Step up and grab a limited Brandon Bills diehard hat for $59 with your membership before they sell out. Either way, you get all the perks. You get the memberships, you get the discounts on merch, you get access to our Discord, all of the access for the online stuff. Jared Wilson is going to be writing about the Cubs throughout the entire postseason. Maybe you want to get in and get a discount on the MVP shirt, huh? Ooh. I don't know that he's going to win MVP. In fact, he's not going to win MVP in the regular season, but could he be MVP in the postseason?
Yes, he could.
You better believe he could.
That's what
so
the kids
let's check
call,
it out.
That's what the kids call sick drip.
Sick drip is what I like to say.
Sick drip.
Sick merch, hot drip, all that stuff. I don't know if they say hot drip. That's more of a coffee thing.
That's your sinus infection talking right there.
That's my sinus infection. That's right. So we were talking about, before the break, I said, all right, players to watch offensively. This means we're talking, Joey came up with some great graphics. We got WRC Plus we're going to show for each team, and also WAR. So these are the players that, you're showing throughout the season who was the best.
Yeah, so I mean, what we try to do is try and put into context where the Chicago Cubs are, where the San Diego Padres are, not just for the full season, but also heading into this playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to try and build a compelling case that I think that the huge X factor in this series is the Cubs offense. If you look at the Cubs offense this year with WRC Plus and WAR, it's pretty impressive, Justin, right? I mean, we had to change this graphic because in the last day and a half, Michael Busch ended up now leading the team in WRC Plus.
Man.
But if you look up and down that lineup, over 100 is an above-average player. If you look at the WAR on the right there, a lot of that has to do with the Cubs and their fantastic defense, but also has to do with their offensive production. I mean, Justin, what's your biggest takeaway from looking at that list, other than it being wildly impressive?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great offense. You saw it in the first half. Michael Busch with that 141 is the 9th best in all of baseball. I mean, you're not talking about just leading our team. He's one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And by the way, I was told Kyle Tucker wasn't very good. 137? Not too bad, right? I mean, come on now. So here's the deal. We have the offensive power to make the pitching really not matter, right? I mean, a good day offensively, this team can beat anybody. You know, they could an ace, your second starter, whatever. This team offensively can do whatever they want to do. You saw it in the first half when Tucker, when PCA, and when Suzuki were like studs. You saw this team, best team in baseball, right? And Michael Busch in there, Dansby Swanson hitting in the 8-hole. You know, I mean, the fact that he's average according to that stat. I mean, and he brings so much defensively, but honestly, he could hit it out. Offensively, we are a great team. It's just which offense you're going to get. The first half offense, the offense from the weekend, or the offense that went through an Arizona drought before that. You know, I'm betting on the fact, perfect weather, jacked up fans, energy on 1,000. I'm betting on the first half offense, honestly.
Yeah, and if it's warm, means the ball carries a little bit more. So will we see home runs and offense and stuff like that? I still say the best thing the Cubs had going for them in the last week was Seiya's bat coming alive.
1,000%.
Doesn't mean it's going to carry over, but it's better than the alternative of him being just completely invisible for half of a season. Yeah. It looks like he's back. And I think PCA has turned that corner. And if you can get Kyle Tucker turning that corner again, coming back with the calf injury, all those things. But go back to that one more time, Sarah. You know what was on there? Who had Nico Hoerner with the highest WAR on this team going into the season? And he didn't do it with power, guys. What do you have, 7 home runs?
Finished with 7.
Highest WAR on the team with 7 home runs. That tells you what type of season he had outside of power, because the whole game is about power right now. And there's a guy without power with the highest WAR on the Cubs offense.
He's just so consistent. He does everything right. Fine. You want to knock him on his power. He does everything else great, from defense to running to contact to hard to strike out to clutch. He's Mr. Clutch. I mean, I'll tell you what. Here's a scenario. Game on the line, bottom of the ninth. I want Nico Hoerner batting. I mean, he's the guy that I trust most in this lineup to come through with a base hit or even a productive out. 1 out, a sacrifice fly. Nico Hoerner's that guy that will do the right thing at the right time.
Well, what's so instructive about that, too, is Mr. Clutch. We've called him the glue guy. He's also been the marathon man, right? Because I think in that battle for WAR on the Chicago Cubs, PCA was sitting at 5 or 6 right around the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I mean, he was cruising towards possibly 8 or 9 WAR Cubs season, which would have been on par with Sammy Sosa and the Derek Lee season of 2006, of one of the greatest seasons of the 21st century, offensively and defensively for the Cubs. And there you see just Nico Hoerner, consistent all the way through. Just, we didn't have to talk about him when he's up or down. We finally got around to talking about him when he got white hot, right? But he was so consistent all year long.
He was.
And that's what made him so special, and that's what makes him the 6.1 and why he's leading the team in WAR. Now, let's take a look at the Padres lineup a little bit with their WRC plus and their WAR. So if you take a look there, Fernando Tatís at 131. They do not have a player with a WRC plus of the Michael Busch and Michael Tucker. If you kind of notice, all the numbers are down a little bit on the WRC plus, but they do have a bit of that above average consistency. Elias Diaz at the bottom there is definitely a below average player. And the one thing that's so interesting is the Cubs are also not going to have to deal with Ramon Laureano. So Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn came over from the Baltimore Orioles over at the All-Star break. As you see, Ryan O'Hearn has had a good season, good last couple of weeks for the Padres. But Laureano is out with a broken finger. Okay. He had a 137 WRC plus. He was their best hitter. They do not have him anymore. And then the other part, just that's instructive about looking at the WAR there, of course, Manny Machado and Fernando Tatís are the headliners. But you don't see the type of numbers that you see from a WAR perspective that the Cubs have. What does that also tell you? It tells you that the Cubs, in my opinion, are better offensively, and they are, by and large, several levels above the Padres defensively.
Yes.
And if the Padres are a team, and we have other stats to back it up, they're more of a contact-driven team, I do like the matchup of this contact-driven Padres lineup that maybe doesn't hit for as much power against a Cubs defense that is truly elite. And let's be, am I speaking out of school? Over the last week, they've been fantastic. It's almost as if they've taken their defense up to another level recently.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question if you're checking boxes where the Cubs have an advantage, defense is definitely one of them. Yes. I would say maybe going into the season, I would have said star power for the Padres would check a box for San Diego. That still might be the case, but if you're just going by something as simple as WAR, Nico had a higher WAR than anybody on the Padres. Even Tatís.
Jackson
had a
Merrill
great
even.
like
You're
all
saying-
of them.
You're saying star power before the season because of their names.
Correct. And their back of their baseball card.
Exactly,
And,
right.
and the flashy stuff that happens in baseball. Nico doesn't necessarily do flashy stuff in baseball, but he ended up putting together a WAR, which most people consider those two things, WRC plus and WAR, showing you, at least offensively and maybe overall, who the best players in baseball are. Cubs stack up there.
Yeah. And the exciting thing, too, is that the Cubs are great at home. Their home record is really, really good as well. So the fact that we have those star players, the fact that we have that great defense, all those things, but the fact that we're playing maximum 3 games at home, that bodes well because I'm telling you, home field advantage is a real thing. I argue that at Wrigley Field, home field advantage is a major thing, and I'm very, very glad we have it.
Well, and the Cubs crowd,
Yeah.
I mean, got to be rocking from the jump, right?
They will
I
be.
mean,
Don't be nervous. That's why sometimes
okay.
Cubs fans get nervous. I
Right.
don't want sphincteritis. I want loud.
But Luke,
Yeah.
I think, not to cut you off, but I think that we haven't had fans in the stands for a playoff game since 2018.
Yes.
They're going to come jacked because we've all been craving this for a long, long time, right? It's finally here. They're going to come jacked for sure.
No, you guys are both bringing up great points in the sense of the Padres were 38-43 on the road this year, so under 500 record. That's honestly not that off base from a lot of the norm of Major League Baseball teams this year. And the Cubs actually were an above 500 team on the road, just saying. But Luke, man, you are bringing up a really good point where, the 108 years, you're talking about 1984, talking about growing up being a Cubs fan. And this is also going to be a lot of baked into probably my final prediction at the end when we talk about how far we think the Cubs are going to go with this thing. But when we talk about the 108 years, talk about 84, talk about 89, 98, 03, 07, 08, and all that good stuff. That Wrigley crowd is interesting, right? It can be a tight, pensive crowd, and sometimes it takes a moment. I remember DeRosa hit an opposite field home run to kind of sort of shake things loose, and all the Cubs fans said, well, everything's okay. Yep. So I am interested that it plays into your just-in-time point of can we get a run early on the board just to get the Cubs fans a little loose a little bit, and then once they can rally behind it, and then they can be a real factor in this game.
I will say the time when I think that switched, when that was turned, that was really a thing in 07, 08, even 84. That turned in that Cardinals series in 2015.
Yeah.
When Schwarber hit that one onto the scoreboard, everything changed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the place just exploded, and I don't think it's been the same building since.
Right.
There's been more boos.
Higher expectations, that's why.
Because the expectations were raised, and so I don't think there's as much anxiety as there used to be.
I'll tell you one thing. In 2016, Game 5 of the World Series, we were down against Cleveland.
Yep.
There was a lot of anxiety and a lot of people on the edge of their seats until Chris Bryant hit that home run. And then, boom, the crowd never gave up again. But there was a lot of that, oh, no, here we go. And, I mean, I'm telling you that Wrigley crowd is a factor, and I'm begging for the crowd to be a factor these next couple games.
Yeah, from the jump, right? I mean, if you
From
get
the
a
jump.
3-2 count in the first inning, let's get on our feet.
Yep.
I know those playoff tickets are very expensive, and I know, sometimes people just want to sit and watch the game. But you got to just say to yourself, do your stretches, do what you got to do. Wear
your
comfy shoes.
stretches.
2 comfy shoes. We need you standing. We need you cheering. Bring a lozenge because you're going to lose your voice.
Yes.
Like Greg Braggs lost his voice at Bears Raiders yesterday. Did you hear him? By the time the A block of doing the post game yesterday, he
Brick
was
by brick, his voice was gone.
he was absolutely gone. So this is a part of it, right? And you get to be a part of it as a Cubs fan. So just I'm just advocating for people to just get into it from the jump. Everyone says that the fans aren't a factor, but they can be. They can be a factor, especially when you get traffic on the bases. You get a Padres team that tends to walk guys from time to time, can get some traffic going on the bases. If you can kind of squeeze the guy a little bit and start having him feeling a little bit, it can maybe play in the Cubs' advantage.
And Joey, to my point earlier, that's why it's so important to get ahead, because then the crowd they're in it. You know what I'm saying? If you jump ahead, the crowd, you fall behind a couple runs, the crowd does get a little anxious, whatever. So I think it's why it's very important to get ahead for the Padres bullpen, but also to get the crowd behind you the rest of the game.
Yeah. If I had to pick one player on San Diego's roster that I don't want that person to beat the Cubs, it's Tatís. Mm-hmm. If I have to avoid one guy throughout the series and say, let's kind of be careful with this guy, Tatís is that guy. They don't have Aaron Judge in their lineup.
No.
But just remember that the Padres last year, while they've been good this year but not great, they were the only team that had a shot at beating the Dodgers last year. And Tatís was a big part of that. So I just say be careful with Tatís in this series. Coming up, we're going to do the September comparisons, taking a look at how these two teams finished. What do you think? Give us our predictions. Cubs, Padres, who wins the series and in how many games? Right here in the live YouTube chat. But first, a word from our sponsors. At Toyota's national sales event, they've got a long lineup of vehicles ready for you. Cubs fans, Toyota has 25 vehicles right now available with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. They have the RAV4, legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander, adult-size third row, that's for real. And Tacoma's Wild Side, that comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. What a time it is to become a CHGO diehard just in time for the playoffs. Right now, special deal, $36 with a limited edition shirt, or step it up, grab the limited branded Bills diehard hat for $59 before they sell out. Get access to our exclusive written content, plenty of discounts on future merch and events, plus the CHGO Discord Lounge where we all hang out. Go to allchgo.com and join the thousands of diehards and sickos already in our community.
I got a special announcement for coaches out there. Hey, coaches, listen up. If you're looking for more athletes to train, Eye on the Ball is where you need to be, the company that was created by CHGO diehards. It's simple. You create your profile, upload your background check, and boom, you are in. It's only $50 a month, or they have a promo right now for free 6-month all payment, no problem, no worries, or $500 for the whole year. Athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly, and here's the best part. Eye on the Ball doesn't mess with your schedule, your payments, or your business. You are in full control. They just connect you with athletes who are already looking for a coach just like you. So if you're ready to grow your coaching business and reach more athletes, go check it out right now, eyeontheball.net. Remember, that is eyeontheball.net. Don't wait. The athletes are out there already. They're looking for you, coaches. So use eyeontheball.net and connect today.
92-win regular season for your Chicago Cubs, the sixth best record in all of baseball, the third best record in the National League. Brewers at 97, Phillies at 96, Jays and Yankees at 94. The Dodgers with just one more win than the Cubs in the regular season, and boy, we thought they were going to be the juggernaut. We'll see how it all unfolds. And how did these teams, now Cubs and Padres, play in the month of September? A lot of people believe, hey, you want to be hot going into the postseason. I like the way the Cubs are trending. I don't necessarily know that everything carries over. I also think teams that are struggling, Tigers, whoever, can reset just like the Bears did at halftime and take the playoffs and move forward. So, Joey, You've got some graphics here to let us know how the teams were doing in September, the trends heading into the postseason.
Yeah, let's stick offensively just for a second with the Cubs and Padres, because I was trying to dive into and I wanted to bring to the CHGO Cubs audience as much as I can about who the San Diego Padres are this season. And I've been listening to San Diego Padres podcasts for the last 3 days.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry.
I know.
Condolences.
We will all delight in this. They do not like Mike Schilt. They do not like him one bit. But when you start diving into some of the numbers with the Padres, at first I was like, wow, this team doesn't hit a lot of home runs. They're contact-driven. And when it comes to offense for Cubs versus Padres, the Cubs have a huge advantage. But then I said, let's get more into the recency bias of what have you done for me lately. The Cubs specifically, I said yesterday on the show, they've scored 4 more runs 16 times in the month of September. They've scored 5 or more runs 9 times in the month of September. So we pulled up the National League ranks of the Cubs offense and the Padres offense. And if you kind of just look at it a little bit, I mean, the Chicago Cubs offense is just flat out better.
They're better.
Yeah,
so you're talking about just in September?
Just in September,
okay.
Cubs offense, Padres offense. If you look at walks, the Cubs are second in the Let's run that sweet graphic right there.
Oh,
yeah, the Cubs right there.
Beautifully made.
Cubs right there, third in the NL. Padres 7th. Walks, Cubs 2nd. Padres 12th. Stolen bases, Cubs 2nd. Padres 7th. Batting average about the same. 7th. Padres 4th. So they make a little bit more contact. On base percentage, Cubs a little bit better. Slugging percentage, Cubs a little bit better. OPS, Cubs a little bit better. So I know that we've been wringing out the towel on this Cubs offense, specifically in August, right, Justin?
Yeah.
That was the dark moment.
Yeah.
That was the dark night of the soul or whatever, if you ever do screenwriting or anything like that. But they've rebounded quite nicely in the month of September. And even if you aren't necessarily happy with where the Cubs offense is right now, the rankings speak for themselves that we do have the edge offensively versus the Pirates, even in the most recent sample of stats.
I love that stat because the first half of the season, we were the best offense in baseball. And now, we went through we took our lumps for sure, no doubt. But to see in September, they're back up towards the top, it kind of shows you that's kind of who they are, right? I mean, everyone goes through slumps. The season's like this, ups and downs. But like, honestly, they started off first half great, and now to end pretty good, you got to feel good about your chances going in October.
And if I could add really quick, Justin, Luke, really quick, is if you look at the top 4 in these National League rankings, it's Dodgers, Brewers, Cubs, Phillies in some order.
All right, and that's good. And you know who helped do that? A lot of it? Michael Busch, one guy we didn't talk about when we were saying, hey, PCA, hey, Seiya, hey, Dansby. Michael Busch has more home runs this year than Anthony Rizzo had in any season in his major league career.
It's crazy.
So you mentioned his, WRC plus is up there. He's a guy to watch for in this series, too. And he's obviously trending in the right direction. He's finished big time. And, by the way, the Cardinals can go stick it for not letting him get the cycle for the second time.
Nice little side jab there. I love it.
Give Jed his flowers on that Michael Busch trade because, that Busch was a minor leaguer.
No matter how good the pitchers end up being on the other side of it, the Cubs got a first baseman that just hit 32 home runs and played great D.
It's already paid for itself, right? Yeah, he's on a list with Derek Lee and Ernie Banks and Anthony Rizzo.
And by the way, he's not a free agent next year. We have him for a while.
Cost controlled.
Great trade.
Yeah, 100%. So when we think about the offense, now let's look at the Padres and the Cubs pitching because now you're saying, oh, wait, maybe the Padres have an advantage. Well, if you pull up kind of the ranks there, it isn't exactly a 1-for-1. The Cubs are just staying right there with the Padres. ERA in the month of September, 3rd in all of the National League. Padres 5th. Home runs allowed. The Cubs, we all know that, the 6th most allowed. The Padres allowed the 3rd most home runs this month. Ks, obviously the Padres have the advantage there. They got a lot of high-octane arms, not just in the rotation, but also in that back bullpen. But look at that whip right there. The Cubs, 1st in the National League. The Padres, they put more people on base. Cubs, walks, 15th most. That means the fewest in the National League. Padres, the 3rd most. And then batting average allowed. Cubs are 2nd. Padres are 5th. So I get it that we're all going to say, look out for that bullpen. And I get it that they have headliners like Dylan Cease and Nick Pivetta, who's going to be pitching in Game 1. And I'll be honest, I think Michael King was a guy that maybe we had talked about as a trade partner for the Cubs earlier this year. Yeah. He's got great stuff too. Yeah. But the Cubs it's taking a village. And the Cubs are also, from a metric standpoint, from a statistic standpoint, are getting the job done from the pitching side, too, as well in September. That's why I continue to like the Cubs in this matchup.
I mean, I just think they're the better overall team, and pitching, those stats are great and great work, buddy. I will say, though, they're a little skewed by the fact that a lot of, the ERA, a lot of the Ks, Cade Horton.
Very fair.
He brought those numbers down or up, however you want to say it.
That whip especially. Yeah. 100%.
So, take him out of that. I'd love to see what those numbers are. But still, I don't think the Padres have that much of an advantage. And honestly, from a bullpen standpoint, the Padres have the best K percentage of any bullpen in the National League.
Oh, yeah.
Who's number 2? The Cubs. They both have good bullpens. I mean, so, again, you want to jump ahead because you don't want their studs at the end of the game. But the Padres have a great bullpen. The Cubs also have a very good bullpen, a remade bullpen.
The Cubs don't have the flashy bullpen.
Yes.
And if I had to choose one bullpen versus the other bullpen, I would take the Padres bullpen.
I would too.
Do I think that's the biggest advantage the Padres have in this series? Yes. Unquestionably. Number 1 is bullpen for Padres.
I think it's their only advantage. That's their only advantage against us.
And a lot of the other stuff is debatable. I think the Cubs have a better offense. Overall this season, but I think you could argue a lot of stuff back and forth. I don't think you can argue bullpen, although I think it's closer than some people think.
Agreed.
What about September? Everybody looks at the bullpens and says, well, look at those names. Mason Miller, some of these guys are unhittable. Yes, but just like any other bullpen, Padres bullpen has had guys that have struggled as well. And there are guys in San Diego that Padres fans are saying, oh, please don't let this guy face Pete Crow-Armstrong. Right? How has September gone and how has the season gone? Are there some guys that might be ripe for a bad postseason? That's who we're looking for.
Yeah, so this is the exercise that I put myself through over the last couple of days. And quick shout out to my sister who's in the chat, Tina Elliott. She was a great pitcher, great softball pitcher growing up. So this is right up her alley right there. I love you very much. So let's talk about the bullpen just really quickly because, yeah, they're deep. They got 5 or 6 arms, and as you mentioned, Justin, you were 100% correct. That K per 9 rate, some of them, when you see Mason Miller's K per 9 rate, you're like, this isn't real.
It's sick.
But like the ebb and flow of every single season, there are guys that are up and down. So I try to compile not only their season stats of some of these bullpen arms that we're going to be learning about and trying to defeat, but also who's on the up and who's on the down. And when that player comes in, maybe as a Cubs fan, we're going to start to feel maybe a little bit better about ourselves, like maybe we got a shot. So let's just start first with their closer, Robert Suarez, 40 saves this season. Absolutely great. I mean, this goes without saying. 2.97 ERA for the season. Look at that K rate right there, 9.7. That's really good. ERA in September, 2.70. He's gotten the job done. Let's get Mason Miller out of the way so we don't get too upset.
But he's the reason why you never thought they'd go get Mason Miller. And then they doubled down and did.
And then they doubled down with a guy named Mason Miller right here. 16.8 K per 9 rate, 0.761 whip. ERA for the Padres this season, under 1, and also the ERA. He's not giving up a run in the month of September. Cubs fans, write this down. You want to stay away from him at all costs if you possibly can, or at least have that lead like you were talking about, Justin, when the moment
up 3-0.
When the moment happens. So let's go to some of their other secondary guys. Adrian Morejon. He's kind of been their Brad Keller for them this season. He's been absolutely fantastic. When you look at his numbers for the year, 2.08 whip, 0.9, 8.5 K rate. The number, though, in the ERA has been up just a little bit in September. He's gotten knocked around a couple of times.
Not invincible.
Another guy who's gotten knocked around a lot is Jeremiah Estrada.
Former Cub factor.
That's right. And according to the Padres podcast, this is the guy that we want to see in the moment. Now, he pitched a scoreless inning yesterday, so that ERA went down from 6.3 in the month of September to 5.73. But as you can see right there, he's been solid all year long, 3.1 K per 9 rate. But at the same time, he's been really rough in September. All right, that is another guy that we want to get after if possible. They also have Dan Morgan, a guy who they trusted a lot this season. That ERA is skewed because he's just coming off the IL with a shoulder problem. So I'm not saying he's right, he's wrong. He pitched over the weekend, but he's a guy that's just coming back into it. He's not exactly the version of their Daniel Palencia, but he's a guy that I think also the Cubs could have success with, either through rust or just not being on the mound very recently. And then finally, Wandy Peralta as well. Wandy Peralta has been super solid this year, 3.14, 7.9 K per 9 rate, 1 ERA in September. So they got a lot of guys to throw at you, right? I didn't even mention Matsui. There's a couple other dudes that they can throw out there. Justin, you said it at the beginning, the bullpen for the Padres is really, really, really good. You can't get around it. But if you take a look there, guys like Estrada, maybe a guy like Dan Morgan in those middle innings, I think the Cubs can still do some damage against the bullpen. Just try and stay away from Mason Miller as best you can.
That's the point I was going to make, is that if there's one guy I just do not want to see behind, it's Mason Miller. Everybody else you showed, they got an ERA in September. They've given up runs, so like they're not invincible. Mason Miller is invincible. They're at 0.00.
You got to give up a run at some point, Mr. Miller.
But again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I feel like the key to this series for the Cubs is getting ahead early. It gets the fans involved. It stays away from that really, really good bullpen while you're behind the 8-ball. I'll face Mason Miller if we're up 3-0, 2-0 in the 8th or 9th. Fine. But like behind, it's going to be a very tall task for us to come back.
I will say this. All of those stats that we've shown so far, all of them make sense. Terrific work by Joey.
Yeah,
Everything looks beautiful. Everything tells us what we should be looking for. But
having said that,
baseball is baseball.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that's why the Mets are not in the postseason, but some other teams are.
Right.
The Reds.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes baseball is funny. You get a great pitching match, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a fast game, and it's going to be 1-1, and the game ends up being 14-13, and the two starters are not even factors. Yeah. So while the biggest clear leader for the Padres is the bullpen, it's not like he hasn't blown anything this year. Would it be shocking in a series where you only need to win 2 games that the Padres bullpen didn't pitch well in one of them? No, because baseball is baseball. Everything we've just shown you could be out the window in game 1. And James Colstock is talking about in the live YouTube chat. James likes to be a little negative sometimes. He likes to keep us on our toes. He says, hey, but what about Counsell's postseason manager record? Listen, I don't want to talk about it right now. Until they lose a game, can we keep the positivity? I'm not telling anybody how to Cub. But holy cow, we've been here sitting for 4 years on this network, and I've done a lot of negativity because there's been plenty to talk about. Can we stay positive going into this series? Let's not be afraid of the Padres bullpen. It's good, but it's not invincible.
And Counsell is undefeated as a Cub manager in the postseason.
See?
Undefeated.
Yeah. Well, no, and look, I know we got to go to break, and I want to shout out Jonah Martin here. He's been making some great comments, too, as well, about the Padres and the starters and stuff. I think it's about walking in with your eyes open, and I just want to know who my opponent is and where their weaknesses possibly are, because I believe that this Cubs, I believe their offense, their defense, and their pitching, all 3 phases, I think are better than the Padres. They just have to go out there. They have to go out there and do it. And I'm with you. Mason Miller's never been in this situation before. He's been pitching in Oakland for all we know, right? So he's never been in this
Wrigley
situation.
rocking?
Yeah. So
sphincteritis.
just because those stats are the way that they are doesn't mean it's how it's going to play out. But I think Cubs fans, it's all about building this optimism here.
All right, we are getting ready for Cubs, Padres, best of 3 at Wrigley Field. We're going to give our playoff predictions next. Give us yours, but first, a word from our sponsors.
All right, Cubs fans, if you're looking for the spot to catch your favorite games this season, including Bears, we've got a place that checks all the boxes. It is chef-driven, and it has elevated bar food that's locally inspired. They've got the best smash burger and tavern-style pizza. That's right. We're talking about Almost Home Tavern in Wrigleyville. It's not just about the food, though. They offer you tons of games, pool, darts, Big Buck Hunter, Luke's favorite, and shuffleboard. They got wall-to-wall TVs perfect for watching literally any sport. And the owners, they are CHGO diehard members and massive Bears fans. So, yes, the Bears are repped super hard. They've even got you covered with a beer garden filled with TVs. You're not missing a thing, rain or shine. Just a block north of Wrigley Field. It's the ideal pregame, during game, and post-game Cubs spot. They got daily specials and happy hours that will blow your mind, and that is actually worth your time. So go ahead and do it. Check out Almost Home Tavern in Wrigleyville for Bears, Cubs, Blackhawks, Bulls, whatever it is. Almost Home is the place to go.
Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake, slashing prices on new cars and giving you big savings all September. Come in today to shop the model year-end sales event and drive home with employee pricing on every new Chevrolet model. You can get $3,000 to $11,000 off MSRP, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. And with one of the area's largest Chevy inventories, you're going to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you get a great deal. Ray's Price Promise lets you shop confidently because the price you see is the price you pay. Don't miss out on their model year-end sales event going on all month long. For employee pricing on every new Chevrolet model, shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or RayChevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. Here we go. Playoff baseball on the north side. Yes. 2 out of 3 against the Padres, all at Wrigley Field. You just have to win 2. So if it was 84, the Cubs would have won the series. They would have moved on.
They should have.
To the World Series. Should have. You're right. Notice the 4 teams, now that we played 162 games, notice the 4 teams that have the byes, and it's kind of interesting. Blue Jays, Mariners in the American League, Brewers, Phillies in the National League. I could see the Phillies as a preseason prediction for that in the National League, for sure. I could see even the Blue Jays maybe, I guess, as that team, although they hadn't lived up to expectations many, many times.
$500 million man with
I
Guerrero.
would say 3 of those 4 teams are actually pretty surprising. Isn't that fascinating that of the teams getting the byes, it's not everybody you thought it would be?
Oh, Dodgers no.
Assumed the Dodgers were a lock.
Yankees no. Cubs no. I mean, you're right. I mean, Phillies, I would say you're right. Phillies, not a surprise at all. But, I mean, the Brewers, yeah. For me, I didn't think the Brewers would win the division at all.
I thought the Reds would be the biggest threat to the Cubs in the division this season. So give the Brewers credit. Yeah. They had their hot streak, but now this is the time for them to show who they really are, and I expect them to do so.
Yeah, look, Brewers just won their 3rd division in a row. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have to do a little credit where credit's due. But yeah, no, I was a little bit on the surprise side. Phillies is not surprising to me. Blue Jays, I can wrap my head around it. They gave Vladimir Guerrero $500 million, so that's hopefully something that when
and
the
he
Cubs
woke up and he played well.
Yeah,
and
hopefully that's and Bo Bichette had a great year.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's hurt now, but when you do that to a certain player, you make that investment. You want to follow through with postseason success. Right. Let's see what the Chicago Cubs do in that regard. Maybe a certain player in the offseason. The Mariners is the biggest surprise for me, but the Mariners for me, we did this about a month and a half ago of who our dark horse candidates are. I absolutely love the Seattle Mariners. I'll be honest with you; they're my dark horse to come out of the American League. Okay. It's not just Cal Raleigh either. I mean, Julio Rodriguez, a guy that I was having spirited debates around the office with about a dude who I thought was kind of a bummer as a player because I think he's a superstar, and he's had some bad first halves of seasons. Hasn't quite looked like it. He's had an incredible season this year, top to bottom. 30 home runs, 90 RBIs. The WAR, very, very similar to PCA. He's their version of that. And then if you look at their rotation between Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Brian Wu, we'll see if he's healthy, where that goes.
They have great pitching.
They
great
do.
Pitching,
They've got all the pieces to do something for sure. So
they added your boy Gino, right?
Yeah, they got Gino, the Naylor. They got a bunch of stuff over there. So they're my dark horse to win the pennant. And then Luke, when you start looking at these wild card matchups, let's go, man. It's
going to be good. Here we go.
There's a lot going on here.
So those are the teams that are sitting and waiting. Whether that's good or not, you always find out. Would you always prefer to be able to skip a round where you could get knocked out? Yes, but sometimes it leads to rust. Doesn't guarantee anything. All right, let's start right where we want to. Padres at Cubs, best of 3. These two teams took 2 opposite directions at the trade deadline. The Padres went more in than any team possibly could and made huge moves, and the Cubs pulled back and said, we're good. We're going to get there and see how it all unfolds. Now those two teams face off, and you only got to win 2 games. I'll start. I'm calling Cubs in Tree.
Yeah.
Cubs in Tree. I want it to be everything. I want to see all 3 games at Wrigley Field. I want all the hype, and I want to be sitting there on Thursday with so much anxiety that I eat 100 donuts. And then I want to see them fly the W and Clark running around the outfield with the flag and celebrate at home, a series win, and one that we've been waiting for a long time.
Nice. I'm going to say Cubs in 2. I think
in 2.
Home field advantage is real. I think Chicago has been starving, and not just on the north side. Chicago as a whole has been starving for playoffs. I mean, we haven't really had a lot of success. And the last time the Cubs did win the division, it was 2020. No fans allowed. So I think Wrigley's going to be rocking. I think the Cubs are a much better team than the Padres. I think offensively, they have woken up. And this is who the first half Cubby offense, that's who they are right now. I say Cubs in 2, and I'll take it a step further. I think they also then beat the Brewers. I don't know how many games, but I think they win 2 games here in Chicago, and they win the series against the Brewers. That's my prediction.
Guys, I'm with you, Justin. I mean, as a Cubs fan, I never go farther than what my prediction is about to be, but I have the Cubs in the Final 4.
Yeah.
Hopefully playing for the pennant. I like where this team is at. I like the upcoming matchups that we have. In regards to the Cubs-Padres series, I'm almost with you, Justin, but I'm going Cubs in 3 because you know what? The Cubs don't sweep. That is just
that's right.
Not our style.
They're waiting for October.
All year long.
Extra tickets, extra money.
Extra money, extra tickets. Ricketts loves it. The Cubs just don't sweep. They win 2 out of 3 like nobody's business. I'm sticking true to form in that regard.
Okay.
I think the Cubs are going to win Game 1, probably drop Game 2, come back Game 3, take care of some business. And then, man, bring on the Brewers, right? Not scared of them.
Same.
Not scared of them. Ready to go. We know it's going to be a tough matchup, but we've played in Miller Park before. That's not going to be a secret.
Right.
And I like them, and I probably am going to pick them to win in 5 because we don't sweep, Justin. We just can't do it, Luke. We've tried so hard.
It would be the most baseball thing for them to actually sweep.
That's what I'm saying. They were waiting for October to sweep.
That's right.
The first sweep will happen in October.
We
dude.
just swept the Cardinals.
Well, I get it. And the Reds just
Sarah.
swept us. I get it.
Ding.
There's
One for Sarah.
Yeah.
One for Sarah.
There's a lot of contrast. Sarah, what do you got in this series? I want your prediction.
I also think we're gonna lose one. We'll win the first two and then we'll lose the third one.
Well, if we win two,
Oh,
then we
yeah,
just
that's
move
over.
on. So we'd have to
You're saying-
split
Oh, that's
them.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good best
well-
of three.
I'm afraid of losing the first one. That's what scares me.
No,
I'm
I
okay,
think-
if they win the first one, I'm okay with.
I think they're hot off of the Cardinals series. I do, and I mean everyone's kind of healthy-ish besides Cade Horn right now. So I don't know. I think we'll win it.
Luke, how you said it, win game one, lose game two. A game three at Wrigley, that for me is my worst nightmare because one game, anything can happen. Hey, the White Sox can beat the Dodgers in one game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one game scares me. So I want, boom, come out Tuesday, Wednesday, end this thing, shoe on the neck, let's go, and move on to Milwaukee. But again, I do want to say this. You don't want to overlook the Padres. The Padres are the Cubs are a better team, I think, but the Padres are a good team. Do not look at Milwaukee. You got to take care of business here at Wrigley Field against the Padres because they can come out and beat you, but I just don't think they're going to.
See, that's my fear. I actually am a little afraid of the Brewers. The Padres, I'm not. I think the Brewers series is going to be like neck and neck.
Let's get there.
Yeah, no, these are going to be close
Let's
games.
get there.
They're gonna be close
Vince
games.
Perez says in the live YouTube chat, whole bunch of sickos in here. You better believe it. And we're going to be here for the live watch-alongs and all the post-game shows after every game. All right, let's do the other ones real quick. Reds at Dodgers.
Easy.
I still think Dodgers advance. Now, the Reds do have some starting pitching that could slow down the Dodgers in a quick best-of-3 series. I would never take the Reds in a best-of-7, but I will still take the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, they got Shohei. I mean, talk about someone who wants the lights and the spotlight and the prime time. I would not bet against Shohei. Against the Reds, I mean, like, listen, later on in the matchups, I'll dive into it more, but I know the Reds are a good little Cinderella story, but I think Dodgers all day on that one.
It's a best of 3. You never know what's going to happen. Forgive me, I haven't really done my my Reds background. So all I will say is that if they have Hunter Green lined up to pitch game 1 or game 2, I think the Reds can sneak one. But I do like the Dodgers in 3. Yeah.
All right. Real quick, we have the Red Sox at the Yankees. Crochet versus Fried in game 1. Great matchup. Here's what I say. This is for ESPN. East Coast, don't care.
Yeah.
Don't even care.
Who's it? What's his name?
Go after what you want.
Eric Judge?
Yeah, whatever.
Arson Judge.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Right.
you.
Arson
Eric
My
Judge,
ruling, East Coast, doesn't matter, don't care.
Garrett Croquette and
Whatever.
East Coast Pies.
Whatever.
I mean, for the record, I think Yankees. My opinion, Yankee. Any team with Aaron Judge is I mean, it's a tall task to beat someone like that, and yeah, I go Yankees.
Just for funsies, I'm going to go with the Red Sox.
Red Sox,
Yeah.
okay.
Why not? Why not? I mean, the Yankees have been prone to some deep slumps this year.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in their manager who got kicked out, I think, in the last regular season game of the year. I'm with you. I'm not going to knock Aaron Judge probably being amazing in this series. But maybe the Red Sox with Crochet going in game 1. Max Fried's been amazing. He's won 18 games. I'm just going to go Red Sox. Why not?
Okay.
We got like 2 minutes left in the show. Tigers, Guardians. What a collapse by the Tigers.
Right?
At least they got in, but the Guardians, nobody's hotter
Yeah.
going into the postseason than the
I
Guardians. The
think-
Reds got hot, but the Guardians, if that's able to act, like people say be hot going into the postseason,
Yeah.
well, then everybody should be picking the Guardians.
I agree. I think also the Guardians got into Tigers' heads. So I think that if mentally Detroit has got to be just like, I mean, what has happened? You know,
But they do have Skubal in
They
game 1.
do,
Don't
they
forget
do,
you got
but
Skubal.
You're right. No one's hotter than the Guardians, and the Guardians have beat up on the Tigers as well. I think that they have their number. I'm going to go Guardians on that one.
Yeah, I think for the Tigers, the Guardians are the last team you want to play
Totally.
right now. I mean, give me anybody.
Yes.
Give me the Mariners, Blue Jays, Yankees.
Yeah.
Give me anybody but them right now.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's a bit of a Danny LaRusso, Cobra Kai situation right now with the Tigers and Guardians. And maybe the Tigers just want to go back to California. Can we just go home? Can we just go back? I'm taking the Guardians, keeping it rolling. And the Tigers are going to go into the offseason shaking their head, asking, what the hell happened?
I'm sticking with Joe Madden. Sometimes baseball's going to find a way to baseball. And the Tigers will bounce back with Javi and with Skubal and the gang. And they're going to shock the world.
Okay.
All of those wins for the Guardians at the end, just like the Brewers went on a little slump after they got on the hot streak. Maybe if they can get that first game with Skubal, the Tigers got a chance. Yeah. If they lose that first game, we'll just pack it in and go home.
I think we all agree game 1 is crucial for these series. Crucial.
All right, so Here's what we're doing here at CHGO. Justin's going to be here every game.
Yes.
Joey's going to be here every game. Yes. I will be here every game. Sarah, every game? Sarah's going to be here every game. Jared Willis is going to be out at the ballpark for us. Brendan and Corey will be jumping in with us. Kevin Wells will be jumping in with us. Full team. We've been here all year. We've been here for 4 years. We've been with you. You've been with us. Hit the like button on the way out. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to that CHGO Cubs YouTube channel before this show is over so that you're ready for the watch along tomorrow. Like it, subscribe to it, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger, and then tell the total stranger's neighbor. This is it, Cubs and Padres. Best of 3. We're going to be with you for the watch along. Join us tomorrow at 2:08 in the afternoon. Sunshine, Cubs baseball. It's the playoffs. CHGO Cubs. Thanks for watching, and let's get ready to fly the W.
Go, Cubs, go!
We all silly like the mayor.